Da 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 da! Here we are, good time zone, and welcome back to Horde of Tales. My name is Marcus, also known as the Individual, and again today I am accompanied by 3 so far, but the 4th one will join us soon, adventurers who will start a new chapter. But before we get into that, let me quickly introduce you to the people we have on board for this run. We have, once again, returning Serial playing Rebus, the Warforged Barbarian. We have Ida as Rain, the Triton Sorcerer. And we have Caro as our half-elf Paladin. We ended last session on quite a note, actually, wrapping up one chapter of the Convergence Manifesto, and today, starting our first little intermezzo. We're going off the rails off the campaign we've been following, and we're dealing with some drama. We had last session already the setup for relationship drama. We have family drama, and if this city has any kind of zoo, we might get a drama llama added to that. But who knows? It could happen. How are all of you feeling on this precipice of this session?
As long as I don't have to wave my arms for 20 minutes, I'm great.
Uncertain. Quite uncertain. Where are we going with this? Are we all going to die? I mean, you know, end of the campaign, I guess, but...
No, I don't think we're all going to die.
Well, maybe
I
some
think
of
most
us.
of the I think most of the party will survive.
If you all die and I survive, I promise to go to that author and completely dramatize the events.
Cool.
Isn't that what every adventurer wants? A completely over-dramatized novel about their adventures?
Maybe.
Goals, yeah.
Yeah, but this is all, it's all gonna have a romantic spinner on it or something.
Is Rain then also going to be involved in the movie deal for the book? Like, if they're going to make a movie out of it, is Rain going
Eberron
to?
is going to be like a stage trope or something.
Of like one of those silent movies where you only have the piano music, and then like in between they show the cards with what the characters are saying.
You know what? For now, Rain would Rain would like start slow and just be like the model for the cover art on the books.
For the romance author.
And you're actually pairing up with this romance author that we met last time.
I mean, as I recently learned, if she has like pineapple decorations in the window, that means
How do pineapple
that a
decorations
symbolism?
actually look like, you know?
I need to talk to a certain someone because I was told like, oh, if someone has like pineapple decorations in their house or visible from the window, that means they swing.
Uh-huh.
I always thought it was you have your keys like in a fishbowl and you just fish out like a, ooh, who am I going home with today? Hello.
That's too much stuff that I don't understand. like in every way.
The only association I have with pineapples is that back in the old days, people would actually rent pineapples because they were so expensive. And if you wanted like an expensive, cool decoration for your fancy dinner party, you would actually rent a pineapple from somewhere. You wouldn't eat it. You would just put it at like the centerpiece on your table and basically flex on how wealthy you are with your pineapple. That's
Yeah, people usually ate them once they were like started to rot because they were so expensive that they wouldn't eat them until absolutely necessary.
But that's the best time to eat them, like right before they're turning into pure alcohol. I mean, have you ever seen a flock of parrots drunk on macerated pineapple? It's a wild show. They're bonkers. When the wild parrots are
You
drunk.
know, I still have
I have seen
pineapples
this.
Pineapple
in the
schnapps.
freezer.
I like how we meandered from, you know, just talking about the coming session over to pineapples and then to drunk parrots. I think this bodes well for today's game. But how about I slowly take us over to our game, actually? But before we do that, we have our usual pre-game announcements. As you might have noticed by the quality of the banter, you are at Horde of Tales, and
Sorry.
we are a TTRPG live stream
People
group,
know.
and on Tuesdays we play Dungeons and Dragons. More specifically, we play in Eberron 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and we follow usually the adventures as set out in the Convergence Manifesto adventure path. Last time we wrapped up Chapter 5, perfect timing, but today, as mentioned, we start a little diversion from the adventures I've written, and we're going into our very own intermission chapter titled A Prophecy of Storms. If, however, you're like, whoa, how can these people come into such a cool side chapter from such a cool main storyline? Well, check out the Adventures for Convergence Manifesto at acrosseberron.com, where you can find them. And we do run our games on a virtual tabletop called Foundry Virtual Tabletop. And the music you hear is by Dark Fantasy Studios. And should you see any kind of battle maps on screen, they were probably made in Dungeon Draft. Our overlay is made by Caro, and any of the fancy character art that you see is a cooperation between Serial and Caro. Also, we do have Cat Vantage on this channel, and that means if you see a cat on someone's screen, you can use the channel points to give somebody here Cat Vantage. If you do, don't forget to name the player or character, whatever is easier for you to name, to whom you want to give the Cat Vantage, and then a cute little kitty cat will pop up next to their screen, and that will indicate that they're currently holding a dose of Cat Vantage. They can then use that Cat Vantage to their advantage by giving themselves advantage for one roll. Keep in mind,
The GM is also a player.
that is true, and every player can only ever have one dose of Cat Vantage. So if somebody already has a cute little kitty cat next to their name, don't give them another kitty cat. You will have your chance later on to give them a new kitty cat.
We haven't
Talking
seen your
about those
kitty
kitty
cat in a
cats.
while, Marcus. Like Cat
Sorry?
Vantage aside, we haven't seen your cat on screen for in quite a while.
He's decided to take these times as his, like, first snooze of the evening, and he's very, like, now I'm gonna snooze for a few hours, and once we're done with this session and I get up from this chair, he's all up around me. So,
That can't be. Hey.
yeah. Well, you have about a minute while the intro rolls to summon him. So how about we're gonna move over to a quick little intro.
People
and
don't have
we'll be
house
back in a
phones
moment,
anymore.
And maybe there will be a cat there. See you in a moment. And here we are again,
Hi.
back in our game. Last time, our adventurers had made it out of the plane of Danvi, the plane of perfect order, together with the item they were looking for. Once out of the plane, they decided to, before heading back to Sharn, indulge their companion Delphine on a idea of going back to her hometown, Stormhome, the ancestral seat of House Lyrandar. After about a week of travel by lightning rail to the city of Reckenmark, the party met a author named Scylla and her husband Herbert, who were also heading over to Stormhome, and offered them to come along on the same boat that they had chartered for the trip, which was navigated by a captain who seemed to at least recognize the face of Delphine. A few days of boating out on the Cyan Sound towards Stormhome revealed that there actually was a bounty on Delphine's head. and the captain of the ship planned to claim it, but the party could not let that happen, and instead made their way safely to Stormhome, while also having some comfort. Rain sharing with her broken relationships and heart with the author and her husband. Once in Stormhome,
I just kind of love that you were like, oh, the party couldn't let this happen. They couldn't possibly bring Delphine to justice and let this guy claim the reward. Except we did go to the quartermaster's office and
Yes,
exactly
which is-
did that.
I
so,
didn't
you
say
know.
anything about it. This was
Which-
like decided by the rest of the party. Like, yeah, we're doing this.
which actually leads us to that last point of our summary. Once you arrived in Stormhome, you did give the captain the chance to turn you in at the Harbor Master's office. And the Harbor Master turned out to be a familiar face, Darrien de Lyrandar, who basically was demoted a few notches to Harbor Master, and who was more than surprised that Delphine would turn herself in this way. There was a bit of conversation. They were given a few chances to still maybe get an exit. But in the end, Darrien was given free leave to contact whatever people he just contacted, and we're actually gonna pick up just moments after we ended our last session. And also, it looks like our...
Hello, Austin.
Yes, Austin has joined us. I will share him with the people on screen as well.
No,
if
it's
my-
ours. No sharesies.
Look, there he is. Everyone, he has appeared.
Oh,
Dythun
they
is
have
also here. Awesome.
joined!
Perfect. Okay, so you are still, all of you, in the small office of Harbor Master Darrien de Lyrandar, who has just finished his conversation through a sending stone. Puts the stone on the desk. Looks at all of you after quickly ruffling through his hair. A little bit of sweat on his forehead from the stress of this situation, and he says, there will probably be people from the palace here fairly soon to escort you out, Delphine. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of you, but if this is part of some kind of ploy you're still planning, you still have a chance. There is a window. And he just looks confused at all of you.
So, before they get here, we're just probably pretty soon. Let me give you this. And I'm looking to Rebus and taking out the satchel that I have and basically handing it over, which is most of the stuff that I actually possess. Just in there, this magical thingy.
Mm.
Yeah. Except for the weapons that I have, and you will see that Delphine is thinking for a second of like also handing over her hat, which she normally doesn't even takes off or anything. So, but then rethinks it and lets it on. So,
I mean, what would happen if they take a Delphine de Lyrandar, who turns out to be not Delphine de Lyrandar?
we are not pulling this here, okay?
Why not?
If you want to do something, try to get that money from this guy down there, because he doesn't deserve it.
But you did do what he said you did, right?
To be fair, I can't even remember his face.
Can I insight check that?
You want to
Do
insight
it.
check, Delphine?
Bring the chaos.
Yeah. She's like, to be honest, I don't even remember his face. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know if I
sure.
believe that. Okay. Where did my 20 go? There it is. Oh, It's only a 10.
Oh yeah, but it seems like she doesn't really remembers anything about that.
I don't seem to
Here,
remember
listen,
that happened anyway.
Listen. There was a lot happening during that time. And I can't remember every face. Or when it actually happened or not.
Lots of things happen in all our lives. Lots of things catch up with us.
So maybe my dear cousin might secure you a nice stay while all this happening. Looking to Darrien.
I can make sure that should your companions not also be taken in.
I don't see why.
That's a fair question. The bounty was placed on your head. In these days, you never know. But rest assured, dear cousin, I shall take care of them.
Do you really not know anything about this bounty, apart from the fact that it exists? Given the fact that, well, speaking quite bluntly, you did try to murder her before.
I did attempt that. And I can assure you that I would very much love to be more within the know of what is going on in the Lyrandar mansions. But I'm afraid that due to my failed attempt at my cousin's life, I am not that much in the know anymore. If anyone, you could see if I can see if I can reach out to Madrith. She is more around the mansion these days. And if this news reaches her, I'm sure she would be willing to also talk with all of you.
Well, then chop chop.
You are still in my office, Rain. You do not just simply command the harbor master.
Chop. Chop. Or do
Rain,
I start telling people about that little tirade you had with the Orient boy in the casino?
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
The high number. 19 total.
19 total. Yeah, you just, while you say that, you're also like absentmindedly looking at your fingernails and just dropping that there that you know that, and you see Darrien mouth agape, and he shuts his mouth, straightens his posture. You wait here. I will send for Madrith.
That's such a good idea. Yes, yes.
His mouth is like a thin line at this point as he's just looking at you and walks out of the office, closes the door behind you, and it's just the four of you now in the room while you hear Darrien going downstairs.
I mean,
I turn to Delphine. Miss Delphine, did you happen to get any insight or information on why this might be foolish of me to ask, but why the attempt on your life? Why would they need to take you out of the equation now if they haven't before?
Oh, to be fair, I have absolutely no clue. There were so many options years ago to do that. Even the last time when I was here. So this totally hits me out of sudden as everyone here.
well, I might know a thing or two. Your dearest matriarch. According to some information I may have gleaned, she might be, how to put it, receiving some bad advice or making some very bad interpretations based on Soothsayers, fortune tellers.
I mean I heard these rumors as well that she got quite into like fortune telling.
But there seems to be quite some gravity about it very recently.
But I think she will be wiser than to give into such things.
Well, that's why I would recommend that if I were to disguise myself as you, and you know your way around the Lyrandar compound best, I could give you a bit of time to do so discreetly. And assuming they don't chop me up for having the wrong person, well, you know, that captain just wanted to turn in the bounty. Would even
That's why I said
very-
you should go after him and take it from him
I
because
don't
he
care
definitely
about
doesn't
the,
resist.
I don't care whether he gets it or not. That seems to be a big
I
point for you,
care.
though. Oh, but you don't remember who he is.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, how much was that bounty again?
9k gold pieces.
Yeah, like that's not nothing.
Hmm.
It might be worth.
Also, if you get a good talk with Matriarch, she might let you in there.
Hmm.
She knows you.
Is Matriarch in the compound at the moment?
As far
I
as
thought she was
Darrien
away.
said, she must be around somewhere.
That might actually be worth a try. But I see the point of your plan, Rain. At least giving us enough time to not turn Delphine in right away and put her in more of a predicament. Worth a thought. But I would suggest contacting Medrith first.
Well, that's what Darrien is doing. Like the sweet little gopher boy he is now.
All of you, while you're having this conversation, you hear from downstairs. You hear there's a bit of a commotion going on as you hear doors opening and there's some mumbling and talk exchanged, and you hear a voice saying, there's a voice very clearly saying, "Step aside, official house business." And there's a response coming that you hear like, "Oh, yes, Captain. Ah, great to see you." And you hear Darrien's voice, is it that's responding there?
What do you know about the captain? Someone to be reasoned?
Delphine, actually, the
For
voice
record,
that you
that
hear,
was-
Someone
the-
single?
Delphine, the voice that you hear brings back a memory for you. But you would have not expected the voice in this context. It sounds at least very similar to your old sailing teacher at Slate Keep.
Okay.
There's another line from Darrien. "Captain Vimer, glad you could make it. I want to assure you that as the harbor master, I have gone through great length to make sure that the culprit is confined to my office." And Darrien is cut off and like, "Thank you very much for that, Darrien. But I've come to taking her in. We have come to taking her in." You're still up there. They're still downstairs. You can hear this from downstairs.
Now or never.
Thinking about it. No.
Such a shame.
Footsteps come up the staircase, some of them heavier than others, and the door to the office is opened by Darrien, who is making an attempt at, allowing people in, but is gently pushed aside by a tall sea elf with a little of a bulky posture, bald head, and these deep green eyes. As far as you can tell on elves, you cannot really see there's a little bit of age to the face of this person. And they wear, just like two soldiers behind them, a chainmail armor, and under that, a tabard of this deep blue color, like a sea in a storm. And they do also have the symbol of House Lyrandar worked into the chainmail on one side of their chest. Delphine, you recognize the sea elf. Even though it has been a few years, you would always recognize the face of Awen Vermeer, who basically literally taught you the ropes of your craft back in Slate Keep, but is now wearing the uniform and is apparently doing the role of some kind of guard captain for House Lyrandar. What's going on in you, Delphine, when you see Awen again?
Oh, like surprise? Like confusion about like, okay, wait, something is not right here. and like more surprise.
Delphine is just blue screening.
Totally. Like, what the heck?
Awen looks at you, Delphine, and there is, for a brief moment, there's a smile on their face. It's just a smile, and then the face goes neutral. And they say, take her in. She's going to the mansion. I'm not sure if any restraints are necessary, Miss Delphine.
If you want to put up a show.
I was never the one who was interested in putting up shows. He quickly glances over at the rest of you. Just quickly takes in all of your faces.
Hi. A captain.
Welcome to Stormhome. I take it you were involved in the capture of this wayward member of House Lyrandar?
Such difficult words. Not quite the family reception I thought one would receive. Is this how all homecomings happen?
Under better circumstances, I would assume House Lyrandar would welcome their members back with a different attitude. These are not the circumstances.
And you are a member of House Lyrandar? What a magnificent crack in there.
I am employed by House Lyrandar. I have been serving them in one function or other for most of my life.
And your feelings on this?
They do not matter.
Much in
They
life
do
doesn't
us.
matter. Feelings matter.
Rebus, was there something you wanted to say?
Oh, I just said they do matter to us. So.
I assume the Harbor Master will make sure that you are paid for your services. And I wish you a warm stay in Stormhome, the Pearl of the North. Miss Delphine, would you please? And he just gestures to follow him.
Looking back to the offers, like giving a short wave, like, why are you here? Try to get a wizard at the pole. Then follow them.
Telepathic connection.
Are you sure about this?
You will just receive like a thumbs up. Not being worried at all or anything. Like,
You have a
Telepathic emoji.
You have a telepathic connection for
3
5 minutes.
hours? 5 minutes.
3 miles.
3 miles. So what's that? Right. 3
Yep,
miles.
yep.
And
But
yeah.
like, this is a free island. If we wanted to just also be walking in the direction of the mansion, who's to stop us? I'm gonna stretch my legs.
The escort for Delphine leaves, of course, the office once you have established your connection. The doors close behind them, leaving you, the rest of the party, with Darrien in there. And once Darrien has heard the boots of the soldiers and of Captain Vimer go down the stairs, you see Darrien, like, he exhales, he puts his hand in his hair, one hand on his hip, he goes like, she's in so much trouble. You all understand that, right?
What trouble? What did she do that she would gain a reception like this?
Look, at this point, I assume that the relationship between all of us is at a point where there's no more need for me to not tell you things I know. I think that trying to kill one of you is kind of a bonding experience. But if I were to know more, I would tell you. I would share that. But I have sent a message to Madrid. She's currently very close to the compound and to the mansion and has more access to information. We can meet her later today and see what we can come up with. But honestly, I must stress this. You might not believe me, and you might have reasons to not fully believe me, but I don't know what is exactly happening. I only have snippets, hearsay, rumors, but those won't get Delphine out of whatever she's going into.
And it is your expert opinion, expert on the way the Lyrandars operate nowadays, that she should be removed from the Lyrandar compound? There are no allies in there for her?
There are, and before he continues speaking, he checks twice that the door is closed, that the window is closed. He looks around that there's no one else in the room, and then he lowers his voice a little bit. I don't think that Delphine has allies in the Lyrandar mansion, but there are people in there who work against the Matriarch.
Yeah.
What I know is that this entire bounty is the Matriarch's thing.
If the Lyrandars were to know, well, you tell me, maybe this is common in your family. I don't know how you humans and half-elves and elves work. Is it common for Lyrandars to call hits within each other, within their family? If this were to become knowledge?
That's the thing that gets all the Lyrandars up in a fit, that there's a hit called on one of them.
And
It's
they
not
do nothing. They just wring their hands, ooh, 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 and sweat about it.
They're all caught up in their own little political games. Games that I have played myself for far too long, and look where they got me.
A corner office with a view.
Look.
Darrien, thank you for your help so far. I am aware that you have done all you can, and if I'm being quite honest, I am as surprised as you by Delphine's choices. But as a member of our party, and a valuable warrior, and our friend, we can only support her. So I thank you for your help so far and your kindness, and anything that you might give us, any information. We can't just steal her away if she doesn't want to come with us. And I don't exactly know what she hopes to find out, but we can, right now, only keep our guard up and try to be there for her when she calls us.
And be very ready to smash a window if that's what is necessary. But there's no good smashing a window if the person inside doesn't want to jump out.
Well, you can also smash a window from the other side. And he looks over at Dythun. I've seen you at work, Dythun. If we plan any kind of attack, I think we could have less talented warriors on our side.
I don't appreciate the backhanded compliment, but I see what you're getting at, and I've already been thinking. There's no, like, restrictions on, like, people walking through here, right? I know it's a city, but it's also a stronghold.
Oh, if there were restrictions here, one of the most important businesses of Stormhome in recent years would not work. Tourism. So we can, as long as we don't act overly suspicious, we have free movement through the city. Though,
Right.
don't forget, I assume now that the captain has seen you and what kind of information House Lyrandar might have on you, there might be a little bit more attention on a Warforged, a Triton, and a Leonin. But practically, it's not like we're restricted to just the harbor or something. Officially, though, I do have to mark any kind of traveling papers you have. Have you brought in your passports and stuff? You need to, according to...
Yeah, I have mine. They're in the boat.
Yeah, never mind, yeah.
So... I don't know about everyone else, and if no one wants to join me, that's fine, but I would want to go and investigate just the outside of the actual stronghold where she would be.
Oh, that was my idea.
Perhaps Darrien can give us a tour.
I love seeing the homes of my party members.
Tourism.
A tour! And he points at Rebus. Yes, you could be... There are tours for tourists all the time through the city. And also...
On the house.
Also,
Obviously.
Yes, on the house. Do you want the full guided tour? With explanations at every statue? And...
Are you giving a tour?
I feel like you want my answer to be yes, right?
I think you know what our answer is if your answer is yes.
I can excuse myself from harbor master duties for a little. Though I could get us to the Pinnacle District, to the mansion as quick as possible, though I would still suggest that we would also meet with Madrith if we have the chance for it.
Let's do that.
of course.
She suggested she's still caught up in some business for the time being, but she suggested later today to meet at the Gold Dragon Inn. We do have one of their franchises here, and all of you, at the mention of Gold Dragon Inn, all of you know what it means. The Gold Dragon Inn is basically a franchise of hotels that is run by House Galanda, which is also a dragon-marked house, who have the mark of hospitality. And they have cornered the hospitality market in this world. And the Gold Dragon Inn hotels are known for their luxury and their even exclusive VIP packages and the likes.
Oh, Darrien, you're so generous.
I've never been on any kind of tour. I am quite excited. Also, might that tour include, how should I say it? In case things became dire, perhaps a special focus on the inside of the stronghold.
Oh, I would have to manage your expectations here a little bit. Even with a tour, even if it's, well, if it is guided by me, there are certain parts of the complex that are off limits for just tourists. But
Oh, I would be quite satisfied with a explanation, perhaps a couple diagrams. I'm very interested in the architecture.
architecture, yes,
You know, plans,
I can see.
how the rooms are divided, the different.
Would you also like to know which rooms have
Exits.
hot water connections and
Go
which
go
one?
brush up on your flashcards. Where should we meet you, or are we walking together?
I'll need to get change out of this, and he points at his harbor master coat. Get out of this. You just wait downstairs. I need to finish a few documents, and then I'll call a coach to get us over to the Pinnacle District.
Okay.
Go, chup.
But
Important,
here.
important harbor. Just Rain.
Come
For
on,
God's
Rain.
sake.
I take Rain's arm and just like walk her out.
Bye.
And as the door closes, there's like this muffled little on the inside of the office from Darrien.
I like
as he-
bullying him so much.
as he goes downstairs.
We know, Rain. We know. We know.
Oh, that was Ida.
As a lot of you are getting ready for that, meanwhile, your party member Delphine has, in all this time, already been escorted out of the building and into a wagon, which you're currently in. It is not a prisoner wagon you're in. It's a regular, what you understand is this is the kind of riding coach that probably House Lyrandar has a few of for just quick transportation throughout the city. And you are seated in the wagon in between two house soldiers sitting to the left and right of you. And across from you in the wagon facing you is, well, Captain Awen Vermeer. And you can feel the wagon as it's being pulled across the streets over the cobblestones of the city, further towards the Lyrandar mansion. You can feel it shaking. You see the captain just looking at you. Is there anything you want to say to him, or are you staying quiet?
No. So, I guess you have a better insight of all of this than I have, which is to no surprise. So, what is this all about?
They lean back in their seat. What makes you think that I know more?
Oh, most likely the fact that you're staying here, and as far as I know, never really left, and I see you worked your way up.
Oh! They look down their uniform. It was rather a case of opportunity, I must say. You know, I've been teaching at Slate Keep for fairly long, even at the point when I taught you.
I mean, yes.
And I do think it's sometimes healthy to change where you are in life. But I think I don't have to explain that to you, do I?
You tell me.
Remember the conversations we would sometimes have when you were still in school? How you would sometimes how it would look like that you just break the rules for the sake of breaking them?
Yeah.
But then you would show up the next day, get on that ship, tie the best knots, just seem to instinctually know how to steer the ships and still outperform every other student there. Even after staying out late, not listening to your officers, still outperforming everyone.
What are you going to say here?
That I would rather not see you in this position. But at the same time, I have pledged myself to House Lyrandar, and it is asked of me to bring you into the Matriarch and hand you over to her.
You know, this all is pretty much out of sudden, like getting to know that there's a bounty, especially not knowing for what. And seemingly no one else knows. And as far as I can remember, nothing really major did happen in the last years.
There's talk that you've been plotting against House Lyrandar.
Yeah, of course.
Rumors have been heard that you've been doing work for other dragon-marked houses.
I mean, if you're employed in a guild that basically gets adventurers to work to do jobs, you're getting in contact with a lot of people.
So that part is true. You've been working with an adventurers guild.
I mean, how else should I get any money?
I bet you could make quite some coin being a free captain somewhere. Imagine how much people would pay having someone with an actual mark on their ship.
And you know as much as I know that if I ever attempt to do that before I get basically an allowance, that the ban from the family would be faster than I can think.
So that's a rule you would not want to break.
Otherwise, I had did so.
Rest assured that, as far as I'm informed, the Matriarch will not throw you into any kind of dungeons or prison cell. But you will be limited to your own private rooms in the Lyrandar estate. And you will be under permanent watch until the Matriarch summons you to court, whenever that may be.
I think it could be worse, I guess.
They look at you and you see those green eyes just, it almost seems as if they go darker for a moment. And Awen says, I certainly hope that it doesn't get worse. And as the guard captain says that, we see the camera moving out of the coach, and we can see how the coach is currently on its approach further up in the city, has gone past this massive center spire, this pole in the center of the city. And we can see in the distance, in an elevated position, a palace lying on a hill that Delphine in the coach is heading towards. Meanwhile, the rest of the band here, you have given Darrien a moment to get out of his Harbor Master's coat. He has changed into a really like a very dandy-looking outfit with it's kind of a it's like a pale blue jacket waistcoat. He has golden necklaces on, very nice riding boots he has put on, though on one of the boots is a little bit of a stain. He quickly styled his hair again so it's nice and in form, and he brought his walking cane with him as well. And you leave the harbor master offices.
Something's missing from this ensemble. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Rain, what are you doing?
Helping you out. I mean, not all of us can be blessed with accessorizing. I look over at Dythun. I reach into my backpack and I pull out this iron-plated fan.
That would be a most impressive accessory.
I close it. I didn't release it yet. Who's your mommy?
Rain, you cannot.
Goodbye, cereal.
No! No! I don't. No!
And he just looks sideways, goes. Rain's my mommy.
I let go.
He looks at the fan. He folds it open, and in the metal of the fan, he can just barely see his reflection. And it's almost as if he looks at his own reflection with a sense of shame.
Now strut.
What is
You
happening?
wonder self.
Oh my god.
Do people need a minute? Is there...
I'm dead.
I'm going to bonk you so hard.
No, he's my friend.
Oh, jeez. I have to quickly
Oh.
take a note. So,
I mean, he's got a cool ass fan. Rain was so nice to give that to him.
oh, it's so nice, yes. So, with
What the hell?
after this exchange of gifts, the one moment.
Do you need a minute,
Darrien,
Marcus?
Sorry, yeah, I was also, my head was also like whoop 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 whoop. Darrien leads the party out of the harbors, and you basically go up a series of wooden and stone staircases that lead you out of the lower harbor area of the city, known as Kraken Bay. And after a few moments of walking, you end up in kind of like the trade and business area of the city. You see a lot of not much houses where people live in, but spaces for business and trade. This area known as the Maelstrom. And as you get up there, the streets are busy. There's carts pulled by beasts of burden moving by. You hear people shouting. You hear someone going like, "Do I hear 15, 15, 15?" And someone shouts, 18, 18. Is there someone else overbidding this? Anyone else? And just all this noise of trade. You have all these smells filling your nose of goods that are being cooked and of boxes filled with spices that are being moved around. There's even these large cranes that are operated by people that lift gigantic containers out of this district onto platforms in the lower area of the Kraken Bay so that they can get loaded on ships. And Darrien looks around, and he looks across the road where you're standing. You there? Hello! And he struts over with his fan and his walking cane, and he walks over to an orc who is standing next to a coach. A little bit. This coach has seen better days. The color is a little bit faded on the woods. One of the wheels looks a little bit crooked, might make an annoying squeaking sound when it moves. And he walks over to that orc who's leaning against it. And the orc goes, "Yeah, can I do for you, sir?" And Darrien goes, "I need a vehicle that can take me and my fantastic compatriots over to the Pinnacle District. Post haste. Immediately." "I know what post haste means, sir. That would be 4 of you. Would be 15 silver per person." Darrien goes, "15 silver? Good sir, have you looked at your wagon?" And the orc goes, "What's wrong with my wagon?" And as he says that, like, you see from behind the wagon, now climbing on top of it, where you could put luggage, like suitcases and everything, you see that there's a goblin climbing up on it. And the goblin's like, "Yeah, what's wrong with the wagon?" And Darrien stands up. I mean, I'm sure it's a perfectly fine wagon, but 15 silver. And the goblin goes, 15 silver is just fine for you, ain't it? "Yeah, 15 silver is fine for you."
Darrien, don't you have all of the purses of your station? Surely you can afford something like this.
He leans towards you, Dythun. "If you think a harbor master has deep purses, you are mistaken."
Don't we technically have someone else's purse?
Yeah, you have.
I guess it's a question of who did Delphine hand her stuff to?
To Rebus.
I think it was Rebus.
To Rebus.
Rebus has
Oh,
Rebus
Rebus,
has basically the small magical satchel with basically all the money, trinkets, yada yada.
Well,
Which is
I
fair,
believe
but
you
at
were
this point I have
instructed.
become unhinged, and I want to see what's going to happen. You know.
You were instructed to give us the best you could give us, weren't you?
And Rain pipes up and says, like, "And that is why you selected this carriage. It's full of character, clearly."
"Yeah, it's character," says the goblin. "All right, then." And you see Darrien reaches inside his coat, pulls out coins. What do we have? And you see the orc looks into his coin bag. "There's some nice shiny stuff in there." "Yes, I know there's shiny stuff in there. It's coins, sir." "Oh, don't have to get so rude." 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And he starts paying up the coins for the ride.
"Dear driver, I apologize for my companion. He seems to have a bit of a sour countenance today. Please excuse him."
"Oh, it's all right, ma'am. It's we're out here in the maelstrom. We deal with all kinds of stuff. He isn't the first one that's cranky to me today. I'm just doing my job, you know.
Indeed.
And you know, times are tough. You can't keep a carriage in perfect looks. Like, what do I look like? Like a House Lyrandar noble or something?"
I mean, clearly you make up for it in other ways, such as your expediency, or perhaps the courteousness going in and out. There are many facets to hospitality and services.
As you say that, the goblin climbs down on your side of the carriage. Yeah, hospitality. Pulls open the wagon. "Now get in, you gits."
Oh, a character tour. Most fascinating.
"What?"
I got it.
You climb in there, and as you notice,
Dythun's gonna tip both of them a extra silver.
Oh,
He likes them.
Rain was trying to save his as well.
And he actually, to the little goblin, since he still has the choker, he's gonna say thank you in goblin.
that is true. Yeah, you still have the exactly. And the goblin like gives you a quick little salute and replies also in goblin, no worries. And you get in there. The cart shifts a little bit as you get in there, and this is just also a regular wagon that is pulled by animals. This one is pulled by, as you got in, you saw there are these two fairly large donkeys that pull this one, and you're all in there. Darrien gets in last. The goblin like just slams the door shut. And you notice that there's also some weight shifting as the goblin and the orc get on the driver's part of the wagon. And Darrien sits in there and he's like, you seem like, well, this certainly has charisma.
Now, Darrien, I was rather confused by the answer you gave to my earlier question. I'd like some clarification on that, please.
What? You asked me many things.
When I asked who your mother was. Now, I understand that this is a family household. How are you personally related to the matriarch? Is she an aunt? Who is your mother? What a strange response you would give me, Darrien.
You were asking me for my actual mother?
I mean, you are cousins with Delphine. What is your familiar relationship to the matriarch? Are your parents involved? Are there other higher family members? Perhaps.
And you just see, as you do this, you just see like his cheeks go bright red as he realizes.
My goodness, Darrien. This is your family's stronghold. Why would I not be asking questions pertinent to that? What were you thinking?
He gets a little handkerchief out of his coat and he like quickly puts it in front of his mouth and you just see him like just like really trying to steady his breath, puts it back in. You are indeed correct that I am related to Delphine.
Yes.
Through her father's side. Her father is the brother of my mother.
Mm-hmm. Is there a direct line to the matriarch somewhere?
Oh, well, have you ever seen the family tree of a dragon-marked house? Trying to draw a direct line to anything there is filled with weird curves and also people claiming that they have some kind of fourth degree direct family ship to their matriarch of their house.
Which tends to overlap in the power structure as well.
I think when it comes to Dragonmark houses, family ivy weed is a bit more appropriate.
Oh, that is an apt comparison. Ivy weed, yes.
But where is the branch the thickest? Where need we apply the most energy?
The family branch that Delphine, Madrith, and I are from is fairly close to the matriarch.
Uh-huh.
We have, through just a few layers of nieces, nephews, a link with the matriarch's line. You should understand as well, it is within House Lyrandar not per se so that the next matriarch or patriarch comes from the line of matriarch Esravash. There are others that can get that position, and it's a matter of assembling support behind you and a matter of opportunity. You could compare it to a coup in a kingdom sometimes.
And if I understand it correctly, it doesn't sound like your matriarch Esravash has much support, but it seems she still wields much power if everyone is cowering their heads about.
And there you hit the nail on the proverbial head. He says this, and at that moment, you hear from outside like, "Hiya!" And the cart starts moving. At first, like a very gentle tempo, but as it starts moving, you can already hear one of those wheels going like on the outside. And Darrien goes, you hit the nail on the proverbial head there. the matriarch has much power. She wields in financial power, in power of information, and power through the claims that are being made about her. How do I put this and not sound like one of those sovereign host religious fanatics? There are some
Dythun
who
gives him a
claim
very strange look when he says that.
there are some who claim that she holds both the incarnations of the founders of House Lyrandar. That she is some kind of speaking organ through which the ancient founders of the house speak their wishes for the family. Did Delphine ever tell you about the glorious founding history of House Lyrandar?
Sure. If I say yes, I don't need to hear it again, right?
I'm not sure. I still feel very bad about that mother remark. I might keep that in mind for a moment.
I mean, I could meet your mother and we could become friends.
Oh, no, you should not meet my mother. Anyhow,
I'd like to meet your mother.
the founding of House Lyrandar was, at least according to the historians of the houses, is linked back to Lyran and Esravash, ancient half-elves who were promised wealth and power by some of the gods. And they worked together to found our house in the line of House Lyrandar, and they were given this wealth and power. And that's what it boils down to. I mean, I can also, once we're at the compound, we can go into the libraries and read up on those histories. But what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make, is that part of the power of the matriarch comes through people believing that she is some kind of reincarnation of these, founders of a house.
And is this a conclusion the matriarch came to by herself, or is it being fed to her?
This is how far my knowledge goes. And as he speaks, you also notice the bumps in the road as you're being pulled through the city. You can still hear the sounds outside of people selling their wares. You can hear the distant ringing of the bells in the harbor. As far as my knowledge goes, is that in recent years even, the matriarch has been inviting more and more scholars of more and more abstract topics into her household. Once you've reached a certain point of wealth, you want to spend your money for weird things. This is what I've learned living with wealthy people. But she has invited more and more of these scholars of the occult, of the, let's say, para-historical, and she seemed to fill more and more of her time with that. Heck, there's even the rumors that she's taken up a hobby of draconic prophecy.
Huh. Oh well. I wonder what mages will have to contribute to this interesting mystery.
Well, but before that, and you see that Darrien, he looks out of the window. Well, just take a few more minutes. We're currently leaving the Maelstrom, getting past Cliffwatch, and the pole. When you arrived here in the harbor, did you see the majestic pole, our place where I also once docked my airship?
I like poles.
You like poles?
Is it just a pole?
Of course it's not just a pole. It's the main hub for the family's airships. Those of us who are given an airship, when they return to Stormhome, they dock their airship up there.
I thought you lost yours.
Yes, I do not have one up there currently.
It's weird. You said us as if like you were included in that.
Dythun just twisting the knife, you know, a bit further in.
Why do you bully my son?
And he just leans back in his seat. He has like his cane between his legs, and he now just gloats at the two of you. I think we should sit in silence until we arrive. Would you not agree? As
I
you,
think that's impossible with most of us.
as you continue the carriage ride there, you can basically see how the camera pans out again to see how far the carriage still has to go towards the palace. But another carriage has already arrived there, has already moved its precious cargo out of the carriage. Delphine, you step out of the carriage under the auspicious eyes of soldiers and Awen into the beautiful square courtyard of the Lyrandar's family mansion. A magnificent, beautiful place of marble architecture, green shrubberies kept precisely, just like the grass is cut precisely to the millimeter. The only thing that apparently is allowed to grow wildly here is the ivy that's growing up along certain spires and columns. And in the center of the courtyard is a massive fountain of two people standing back to back. One male, one female half-elf. One of them holding up a gourd, a large gourd that water is flowing out, and the other one is holding up a series of cartographer's tools. These little telescopes, the little thing you spread out over a map, and you do these little steps with them. I am again applying accurate nautical terms here, and but both of them stand back to back and are, sorry? And they are the centerpiece to this fountain that is also water is flowing out of it. You hear the water rushing out of it as you get out of the carriage. And you look around here. It's been a while since you've been here for the last time. Has it not been, Delphine?
Yes.
Well, what's going on inside you as you see this?
Today is a lot of question how I feel about the situation. So
It's a bit of therapy, you know? How does
yeah,
it
it's a lot of therapy. It's like it's kind of like this nice feeling of like seeing something again that you haven't seen in a long time. And it's like a little bit of a relief if there wouldn't be like still the spectacle of like, yeah, not knowing what's going on, only having bits and pieces of anything. So yeah.
And as those thoughts wander your mind, you see from one end of the courtyard, there are these massive glass doors that now are being opened by two lackeys that just each of them at one door pulling open the door. And stepping out through the glass doors into the courtyard is a half-elf man, tall and lean, with long black-blue hair. And he is dressed in almost like toga-like robes in the colors of the house, blues in different shades. His hair currently is in a long tail down his back, and as he comes out, you see that the soldiers and the Captain Awen, all of them turn towards him, quickly nod. There's no bow or anything, but you immediately recognize the person. This is Leowen de Lyrandar. This is your father. And he stands before you, looks at you. He keeps a bit of distance. He does not approach for any kind of physical contact. He just looks at you. And then he looks at the captain. Thank you, Captain. I shall escort my daughter to her chambers. You're relieved. And the captain nods. Thank you very much, Raincaller. And the soldier and captain disperse as your father beckons you to follow.
Yeah, of course, following him.
You walk out of the courtyard, past these open glass doors, and you first enter into this wide, spacious, and open inner room. There's these large arches in here, and there's many places where even indoors, there's these fountains and little pools created. The air here is fresh and crisp, and there's almost like a hint of mint in the air. As you walk through here, you see various lackeys and retainers going about their business, keeping everything nice and clean. And you also see in some of these places these open pools that are indoors. You see other people bathing there, having conversations as you move by. But as you and your father move by the people that are bathing, they go silent for a moment. They just quickly look in your direction before you head over to a staircase that leads you up to the upper floors of the estate. And what it is only at the staircase when your father starts talking with you. He says, "How have your journeys been?"
Entertaining.
Anything interesting I should know?
Not that I recall. But maybe you're interested in something special?
What kind of special?
I don't know.
I heard that you turned yourself in.
That much is true, yes.
Do you think that will turn the matriarch's judgment more into your favor?
Maybe it will, but to be fair, I basically just heard of the bounty as I was on the way to Stormhome. Like just a few miles away.
So it is not the bounty that brought you here.
No.
I see. Your mother and I have arranged some quarters for you here. I take it the captain informed you that you will be refined to your quarters and will be under observation there?
Yes.
And you come up at the top of the stairs, walk into a hallway, and he leads you to a door that is already slightly ajar. There's guards standing in front of it. Make yourself comfortable there. Your mother and I might come by later. I have further business to attend to. you know that here in Stormhome, the weather is not a matter of random occurrences.
Don't treat me like a child. I definitely know that.
You never stopped acting like one. And what he just opens the door to the room, points in there.
Yeah, I'm going into the room.
And just moments after you're in there, you hear the door closing behind you and multiple locks being turned on the door. The room itself is anything but a prison cell. You have a large 2-person bed in here. Adjacent to the room is a bathroom with a tub, spaces to shower and clean up. There is actually a shelf with books in here, a little desk, and the window gives you quite a nice view of Stormhome. You can actually see all the way down into the harbor. You hear the seagulls. You hear the echoes of the bell in the harbor. And since the window is a little bit open, the wind of the sea is also blowing in that salty smell that has been a companion to you for so long. Outside of the room, you only hear the voice of your father quickly instructing the soldiers. Keep a good eye on her. Soldiers responding, yes, Raincaller. And then you hear footsteps walking away as you are left in your gilded cage. That's where we're going to take a break for now, before we continue.
Can I ask a fast question?
Well?
Looking out of the window, how far down is it?
Oh, now we're thinking about escaping. Now.
She has a Featherfall token because she kept it inside.
No. That's true. I don't have it anymore.
You're like 2 stories up. So
okay.
But we're going to see after the break how this continues. We have one character who is having some reunions with family and friends, while the rest of the party is working on getting to know the lay of the land through a guided tour. I am already looking forward to pretending to be a tour guide.
At this point,
and
you know,
we're going to see more of that. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. So take this chance to refill your drinks, get a snack, stretch your leg, take your mats, and hope to see you back in 10 minutes. So see you later.
Close your-
And here we are again. Welcome back. We took a little break to roll a few advertisements and also to stretch your legs, get some drinks, and get ready for this second half of the adventure. Before we continue, thanks everyone who's joining us today in chat. We really appreciate the banter and having some nice sideline comments on what the hell is going on here. If you like what we're doing and you want to keep tabs on what we're doing, why not check out our Twitter? You can follow us. We have below the stream, there's a little button. Go to our Twitter where you can keep up to date on what we're doing. Or you can also join us on our Discord, where you can also join in the chat and even outside of the stream, talk about how people call Rain their mommy, if that's your thing. Next to that, if you're joining us today, we did start a new chapter of the campaign today, but if you're curious what happened in the previous 5 chapters of the game, you can find our VODs of this campaign and any other campaign that we have here, and one-shots that we do, and events that we do. You can find all of those on our YouTube at youtube.com, take it away, /Horde of Tales, youtube.com/Horde of Tales, where you can find all of those VODs. So you can also subscribe there. And if you like watching our old episodes, leave us a comment, thumbs up, tell us whatever you want. We love to hear from you. With that being said, we're going back into Stormhome. Before our break, we were still in the room where Delphine is now waiting her further trial or whatever awaits her in the Lyrandar mansion. But the rest of the party was making their way with a carriage pulled by 2 donkeys towards the pinnacle district of the city. And at this point, you have arrived. The orc and goblin have been worth their coin and have brought you up here into the city. A very fancy part of the city. Every house that you see here is a nice estate with large doors and windows, little gardens before them, and carriages that have a better paint job on them, to put it like this. The goblin, once you arrived here in the district, pulled open the door. We have arrived! And helps most of you out by basically like just if anyone wants help by the goblin, he basically like pulls you out of the wagon and gets you out of there. While the orc is also standing next to his donkeys. All right, Pinnacle District. That will be it for you. Thank you very much for riding with us, and enjoy your day.
Fare thee well.
Yeah, bye. Come on, buddy. And the orc helps the goblin back on the carriage, and they ride away. Darrien looks after the carriage. Goodbye. Turns to the rest of you. Well, it's just going to be a nice little footwalk towards the mansion grounds, but I think this was a good place to get off, because A, I got very tired of that stuffy cart, and B, I think we could enjoy a little bit of the beautiful part of a city. Just look at this magnificent architecture. Did you know that about
Is this where your
75...
house is?
No.
You live in the
No.
stronghold then?
No. I have my own room in the harbor master's office.
Oh. Oh, I see.
It has a window which you cannot fully open.
But the most unobstructed view of the sea?
Yeah, it's so unobstructed. When the waves get high enough, seawater splashes through the wood.
How lovely. The sea wishes to hold you in its sweet, sweet embrace. I miss
On
that
to
sometimes.
the stronghold we go, and Darrien struts off with leading the group. And as he leads you through the streets, he gives you some random historical facts about some of the buildings you come past, until you can see on a hill before you, above all the other buildings, you see indeed the stronghold / mansion of Lyrandar. Unmistakable, the heart of this dragon-marked house, with a series of banners showing the Kraken symbol as they dance in the wind, and quite an amount of guards and soldiers here to keep an eye on the scene, but also, indeed, tourists around here. You see groups of mixed groups of people from all over the world. Some of them have these large sun hats on. Others even have sunglasses on. There is some of the wealthier people have these lackeys following them who take quick sketches of the scenery. There's even one group of tourists where 2 of the visiting people, they share a flying carpet. As they just don't move themselves, they're just on a flying carpet around here taking in the scenes. And it's here at these entrance gates to the stronghold that some of these groups gather, and you see standing on a box, you see this this dwarf who got up on a box and puts out a wand to cast an illusion above them, and you see in shining letters about them, Palace Tour Group 1, gather over here. And as the illusion appears, you actually hear it say that in a pleasant voice. Palace Group Tour 1, please gather here. And you see some of the people flocking over to that group, and Darrien stands there. We don't need to go through that. I know people here at the gatehouse. They let us through. And he says, just follow me. And he walks over to the gatehouse of the stronghold. These large iron rod gates flanked by these little houses where you see, leaning at the entrance of one of them, you see this soldier, chainmail, tabard in the colors of House Lyrandar, but he's leaning against the wall. He has his spear leaning next to him, and he's just reading this little book. He has like a little book there, which he keeps reading. And he doesn't even notice all of you approaching at first, but then Darrien says, the guard looks up. Oh, look who it is. Didn't see you here in a while, Darrien. Did you forget one of your bags when they threw you out? Is there, did you maybe, and you see Darrien who's like, and you understand, like, this is like a house soldier who's talking like that to a member of the family. And Darrien goes, Cregan, I definitely did not forget any bags, but I have a few friends of mine. Yes, Rebus?
Rebus will actually, because, I am kind by nature. I will actually walk like behind Darrien and just stare at this guard, with my broken visage, just kind of cross my arms and be a bit menacing.
So while you see this guard was about to go into like another round of like comments to Darrien, he sees Rebus coming up behind Darrien. He sees the broken faceplate, the ornamental figure, but still this pretty impressive form of Rebus. What can I do for you, Darrien? And Darrien didn't even notice that you got up behind him. And you see Darrien is like straightening his posture, like, haha, still got it. But then he looks over his shoulder. You do still owe me, Cregan. And Cregan goes, really? You're on about that? That was 7 years ago. But I never forget. It's one of the things they say about me. Darrien de Lyrandar, he is known for style, smooth speeches, and never forgetting. Cregan, the guard, shakes his head. What is it? You want to get back into your old rooms? You need someone to sneak you in there? No. I want to give my friends, and he gestures first to Rebus, and actually Rebus, he like stands next to you and he like pats you like on the shoulder, like ding ding ding, my friend and their other friends, and he points at the rest of you. A little
while Dythun was like juggling fire.
Yeah, ignore that.
Austin was.
It's a trait we both share.
And Darrien gestures over them. Yeah, I would like to get them inside for a little tour. You're letting all these other groups in. We can just come in with them as well. Cregan looks at Darrien, looks at the lot of you. Darrien, you know that if there's any one of the higher ups that sees you there's going to be questions, right? Especially when you bring your own entourage. Darrien, still with his back straight, looks off into the distance. Sometimes you have to take a risk, Cregan. I like to live dangerously, And Cregan looks at him. Okay, it's your head, and we're even after this, okay? You never bring that thing up again. And Darrien steps close to Cregan, puts a hand on his shoulder, and leans in, and seems to whisper something quickly in his ear. And there's a... Yeah?
Can I try to pick up on what that was?
If any, all of you would be, if you would be close enough to be able to maybe pick it up, but I would need, for anyone who wants to hear it, roll a perception check, please.
Oh yeah. Well, that was a journey.
Plus
0.
That's a 14 for Rebus.
14 for Rebus. Ooh.
22.
22. And what was for Rain?
18.
Okay. Rebus, you would catch at the end of their exchange, you would catch like there's this very mild little laughter, this little laugh from both of them that they try to keep low. But Dythun and Rain, you would both hear vaguely being whispered from Darrien to Cregan. In his ear, there's whispers, we're even, but still not gonna forget that day. And that's followed by a smile from them and a little laugh from both of them.
Detect thoughts.
We're evil.
Rain
Yeah,
the whole gossip. We need to find out.
Blackmail is my thing. I need to keep tabs on this sort of stuff.
You just want to do surface thoughts,
Marcus,
right?
you
Yeah.
can't just have a bit of like, you can't just sprinkle a little bit of innuendo in there and not expect Rain to pick it up.
Nope.
You know, this is how I spend my resources.
This is true. And you do go into the surface thoughts of Darrien, I assume, not of Cregan.
Yeah, because he's the last one that spoke, so I want to see the words that triggered this.
Cool. On the surface of his mind, what first hits you is a feeling that you know very well. Your toes in wet sand as the water goes over them, as you're sitting on the beach with just your toes in the wet sand and the waves roll in. This is one of the sensations you get from the surface thoughts, and that's followed up by an image of Darrien almost naked, sitting there on the beach. He has like an empty bottle of some strong liquor in his hand, and Cregan lies in his lap, also with an empty bottle of something, and they're just having the time of their life.
And keeps it to herself and walks on, but gives an extra wave to Keegan. As they walk past.
All right. Cregan, like, waves you all over. All right. That tour over there, the one with the dwarf, that's going to go in a few moments. You just walk after them. I'll wave you through, and you're in. Maybe Darrien already mentioned that to you. You're going to be on House Lyrandar grounds. Don't destroy anything. Don't do anything stupid. Don't say bad things about House Lyrandar. Just be a good guest. Oh, and that's also and he looks over at Darrien, if you're going to do a tour, I mean, they're going to have to buy tickets with me. That's 2 gold pieces a person.
Wow.
Which, of course, Darrien covers being our guide through the city, yes?
Oh, well, that's very generous of good Lord Darrien. And Darrien, rolls his eyes for a moment, reaches again into his coat, opens a bag that is slightly emptier, a little coin purse that's slightly emptier, pulls out some coins, puts them into Cregan's hand, and Cregan just quickly winks at him as you are ushered in with that tour group under the guidance of a dwarf who's goes like, okay, just follow me. And you get into the palace grounds, which are a little bit further up from the gate. And especially now that you come in here with a bunch of the other tourists, there's a lot of talking and banter around you. You hear there's this one older human woman who is just saying like, "Oh no, this palace is nothing compared to the one in Thronehold. Way more impressive. This architecture is rather uninspired, now isn't it?" And there's a couple of which you gather the impression that they're on a honeymoon, and they're just like, they do a lot of public displays of affection while they're around here. And eventually you get into the courtyard of the palace.
Oh, look, Darrien. Oh, the wonderful throes of romance. Pointing at the couple. How my heart aches.
It is always good to see young budding romance, an aspiring ambition for adventure to
Such
do.
youthful, energetic bodies. Yes.
Yes, we have arrived at the courtyard, and you are now here in a large square courtyard. A lot of marble architecture, large arches and pillars. Most of the greenery is trimmed precisely to the exact millimeter it should be, except for the poison ivy that grows up on many of the pillars and arches. There's a massive statue in the center of the square of two half-elven figures that loom over you. And you also see a very large presence of guards dressed in Lyrandar finery. And wherever any little group of tourists goes, there's never two guards far away from keeping an eye on things. You get the impression that while you are allowed on pretty private territory here, the Lyrandars make sure that whoever comes to see their beautiful home is also kept under observation by them.
As we're walking around, Rin just kind of like tests the water, so to say. Like if we're walking with a crowd and someone's getting an explanation, so just very ever so gently, like minor allusion, the sound of like, boots walking on tiled floor. Her magic seems to work as expected. No obstruction to it.
This is a minor illusion that you're casting here, right?
Mm-hmm. I can make sounds. I'm just making the sounds of like tick, tick, tick,
yeah.
tick.
You do that, and as you do that, can you give me a perception check, please?
Yep. Ooh, that's a 19.
Ooh, very nice. You cast your minor illusion, and the magic works fine. There is no obstruction to it. You can work this magic, and you're pretty sure as you look around, some of the architecture here is in such angles that there's no way this is held up by physics alone. Some of it must be supported by some kind of magic imbued into the stone. So gathering by that, it would already be problematic if there was any kind of anti-magic field here or something. However, what you do catch at the moment that you cast your minor illusion is that on one side of the courtyard, you see that shortly after you cast your minor illusion, one of the guards pulls out what looks like a little device, like a very small, almost like a cassette tape size thing they pull out, and there's a little
Walkman.
Green. Sorry.
A Walkman.
There's a little green light glowing on that thing, and they look over to your direction shortly after you cast your spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then both of the guards look at you as one of them just frowns, looks in your direction if they can see anything.
I look at the person immediately next to me and scoff at them.
It's this one lady that was complaining about the boring architecture here. She's like, huh? And then the guards put away their device. And you get the impression that your magic did trigger something there. That magic is not hindered here, but there are means for people here to know if magic is used that is not authorized. Dythun.
Aha.
I have a question regarding the apparently boring architecture. Because so we're in like an open courtyard, kind of like in the middle or the front area.
Mhm.
Is it obvious from here, judging the way the building is, like where a seat of power would be?
What you did see, especially from arriving, is that beyond this courtyard, there's this large dome part of the building, and there's other buildings attached to that dome. You kind of get the impression from what you saw from this angle that all of the parts of this stronghold, palace, mansion lead to that dome in the center.
Okay.
That could be a place from which where ruling is done, or at least it's like the nexus of where everything in this place comes together.
Got it. Okay.
I will telepathically link with Dythun and be like, magic is unimpeded here. If anything, it seems to be rather constantly in use. However, the guards might be a little bit aware of the source of things.
I'll keep that in mind with all my spell casting.
Don't sell yourself short.
Well, all I'm saying is, if I'm casting spells, they're already very aware something is wrong.
Well, I can cast spells. I can weave my magic. Do it in a way where they might not know it's me, but they will know magic is at hand. So, heads up in case I get inspired, should the moment call for it.
Hey, Dythun, could I get a perception check from you as well?
I was actually about to ask something that might be relevant to that, which is, are they aware? Like, did her doing the telepathic link seem to trigger something?
It's not a spell, though.
Well, that's Dythun doesn't know. Same roll, 22 again.
Perfect. So while you're having this quick telepathic exchange and wondering, like, hey, is this magic that's being picked up? You notice that while you were in thoughts, you notice just in time that someone was moving next to you and seems to be tripping over their own feet and is falling towards you.
Is it pretty obvious it's somebody like trying to pickpocket or something?
It more like with the 22, it more like sees as if they're actually tripping, like actually something tripped them up, and they are now falling in your direction. Like you will like have this split second where you can either like step aside and they like go face down on the ground, or they would fall against you. You could try to catch them.
Dyson will do like the one hand like on the shoulder, like catch them, like whoa,
Cool.
Easy there.
You do that. Dythun, can you give me a charisma saving throw?
Sure. I'm wonderful at those. That's a 12.
That is a 12. You reach out your arm, doing like supporting the shoulder of the person that's falling. And as your hand touches the person, a specific place on your body that has something that you hide from many.
Yes.
Burns. And you briefly see before your mind's eye, you see shadowy tendrils. Within the center of them is just this absolute darkness. and you briefly hear in your head just this. You snap out of that. You caught the person, and you now look at her. It's a female half orc who looks at you. Oh, and she looks at you. And can you also give me an insight check, please?
Okay.
What the hell?
Fuck.
So yes, magic might be strange. Oh, what's happening
That's
there?
one of my good ones, and that's a 7.
She looks at
Oh,
you
no.
and she speaks with a voice with a fairly gentle voice. She's like, "Oh, I am so sorry." And she pulls herself up a little bit. She's about the same size as you. She's fairly tall. And she's like, I didn't pay attention here. She's a fairly tall half-elf woman, short-cut hair, fine clothing on, but she does have like a satchel around her on her waist. And you can see that there's like sticking out of the satchel, you see like pencils and painting supplies are in there. And she goes, I'm so sorry. I was admiring the architecture before I knew it. My own feet in my way. But that was quite some reaction skills there.
I think, like, Dythun isn't even paying attention to what this person is saying. And just in the telepathic link, Rain hears, I need to know who this person is. If
On
you
my
can.
way.
And Rain, you see that person standing there, and while Dythun is just looking at her, she goes on like I was just looking over at some of these tiles here, and isn't this amazing what they did with this place here? Beautiful tiling and everything.
I scurry over and I try to like offer my hands to both Dythun and the woman and the person. And I try to pull him up. It's like, oh, that was quite a tumble into my friend here.
I am so sorry. I did not want to scare anyone. Apologies. I just got a little bit lost in thought.
Oh, is it the place that captured your thoughts?
Absolutely. House Lyrandar. I mean, if you have the money like House Lyrandar has it, you can afford magnificence like this.
I'm so glad to meet someone else enthusiastic about it. I'm actually not quite from these parts, and I kind of hold my hands to my fins.
I must say, for a Triton, you're far away from the Thunder Sea, quite at the opposite side of the continent.
Yes, and it's my first time quite with. Oh, dear friend, what did they call it? The Dragon Mark houses.
You've never visited one before?
No, I haven't. I've heard much legendary and powerful things about them.
Oh, curious. Gee, but what business are you? I'm sorry, I'm so rude. I didn't even introduce myself. The name's Haral. Haral is the name.
Haral, nice to meet you. Well, one thing. This is the first one I visited, and looking over at Dythun, like with the telepath connecting, he's like, "It's coming, I swear."
Is my arm still burning?
You feel like the thing is like you.
I will say the arm I caught this person with probably is that arm.
Yeah. There's still like this lingering sensation. It's like it's slowly receding, and you still have a bit of this ringing in the back of your mind from this strange sound you heard.
Okay. And I think just like he probably hasn't like totally let go of this person either. He's probably just kind of like still like keeping the hand on the shoulder. Right. But Rain can continue her going on.
I just remembered the card things. Oh no.
Rebus, what are you doing in the meantime? You're seeing this happening. You're seeing that Dythun is having a hand on this orc woman, and Rain is also there doing her banter. What are you doing in the meantime?
Well, I'll just walk over because a person fell. Are they okay? But also I see that like Rain and Dythun are behaving strangely, and at this point I've learned to just let the shenanigans happen. Let's see where they go. So I'm just going to stand there, see if they need any help, but not interfere much.
Right. I wonder, what business are you on here? I'm here to apply my skills as a painter to House Lyrandar. Are you also here on any kind of business, or are you with one of these dreadful tourist groups?
Well, I kind of wanted to. My friend here probably knows way more than I do, but I was under the impression that if you're part of a Dragonmark family, you have these amazing marks, special touchings on you. All of them do, don't they? They have to. You can't prove me wrong here. I'm going to ask everyone I see, friend.
But are you asking me if I'm a part of this family?
No, I thought I was curious if that. Wait, are you? Are we in your home?
No, you are not. You're not, and I'm also not a part of House Lyrandar.
So what, you wouldn't know if all Lyrandar family members have such a special mark?
I'm pretty sure not all of them have them.
Really?
Rain and Dythun. Can both of you give me an insight check?
Insight. Kind of
and I'm going to use my cat vantage, which was so nicely given by Austin to me for another roll.
This is a leading question where I'm going. Oh no.
That's better than last time.
Oh, this is really bad. Oh no. It's a 12 total from Rain.
A 12 total. There goes my cat vantage. Bye, kitty cat. 12 total from Rain, and from Dythun?
21.
21.
I'm supposed to be good at this.
When
I rolled a 3 last time.
My.
When Rain mentions the thing about, like, wait, do you have a dragon mark? Or
house members have marks?
You see Haral for a moment, and this is, you only catch this, Dythun. There's this small flinch for a moment as the conversation keeps coming back to this dragon mark topic.
And that was the leading question I was going for anyway, whether I catch the flinch or not. I kind of give a quick nod to Dythun because the guards will know in 3, 2, subtle magic. So at least Haral doesn't know. One more, detect dot surface. And I try to squat down into the crowd as much as I can. I'm thinking, but I'm also obscuring my body from physical view. I'm
The detect thoughts on surface thoughts is no saving throw involved yet, right?
Correct.
That's just like you go in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Ducking, thinking.
you go in there into the surface thoughts. And here's the strangest thing, Rain. If I would say, how many people have you been in their surface thoughts at this point?
Haven't
Dozens, right?
I been?
Yes, you know what the mental inside of a person's head looks like. You know there's always something there. People cannot not think of something. There's always something in that surface. As you bring your detect thoughts in there, there is nothing there.
Okay. This startles me, but I also know that I'm probably attracting other attention, so I know this
Dythun and
happens.
Rebus, at this point, both of you would notice that on the other side of the courtyard, there is a guard that pulls out again this weird cassette device, and now the light is blinking in a bluish, bright glow on there. And the guard waves others over, and you can hear this conversation, hey, what did the blue mean again? And one of the other guards mind magic, you idiot. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm new here. And they look over on the device, and they turn towards the direction of Rain.
No, but
I'm just gonna hold my head and kind of look oddly at Haral, like they did something.
Harald, what's it? Sir, are you?
Sorry.
Hunk, 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 hunk. Steps of the guards coming over.
I like.
I go towards Dythun just to like, oh, friend, are you okay?
And the guards come over. Is anything amiss here?
No, sorry, just small headache.
One of the guards that comes over has this device in his hands, and he looks at it. Emanates from here. Lingering trace. It's over here.
Sorry, Trace. What?
I'm sorry, sir, but we've been equipped with devices to detect any illegal use of magic. We have reason to believe that in your vicinity, mental magic was worked on you.
Oh,
Did you have a sensation of a presence within your head? Anyone within your mind?
never experienced anything like that. No.
Did you see any kind of strange things? Did you see hallucinations? Was there any kind of illusions that might have appeared before you?
The only thing I can think of is there was this woman behind us kept fidgeting with something a minute ago. Complaining about architecture and fidgeting with something in a bag.
Roll a deception check, Dythun. And you can do this.
Wow.
You can do this with advantage
Wow.
because
Okay,
Revis is
thanks.
like supporting you in this painful act here.
I'm gonna need that.
Because this Karen was already implicated in another earlier.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's good. 18.
18. Here's the thing. As you do that story, the person with the cassette with the magical detector stands fairly close to Rain.
I'm
And
like,
this light on it is like keeps on like
I turned it off.
vroom, vroom, vroom. And Dythun, you come up, you say that about this woman over there. She
Yes.
was acting weird, and you see the guards looking at each other. And one guard turns to you. Thank you for your assistance. And they wander off and go to that woman. And a few moments later, you hear like, "What is the meaning of this, ma'am? Please keep calm." And they're away from you. And Harald looks at all of you. Looks at you. Are you sure you are okay?
I turn to Rain before I respond and just kind of look back. Is the
I-
telepathic link is still there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I was
there.
checking to
Okay.
see if perhaps there was a tile out of place that caused this trip. Otherwise, it should be reported so that doesn't happen again.
You
Other
just hear,
guests could trip. I say it
"Did
loud.
you get anything?"
I got something rather terrifying, Dythun. I don't use this word lightly, but there was a void. We'll talk later. Maybe go somewhere a bit quieter.
Right.
At least away from this crowd, and we should keep an eye on that one.
Right. Back out loud again. You said your name was Harol, correct?
Harald, indeed, yes.
It's a pleasure to meet you. The name's Straytail.
Straight tail.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I was before this little incident. I was wondering what your business is here. Are you on official business, or are you with the tourists?
Visiting a friend, but getting a bit of the tour in the
A
meantime.
little of both, yeah.
Would you? I know this might be rather rude, especially because I almost fell into you. Would you mind if I join you for a little bit on the tour? It's a while until my appointment for the painting job, and I wouldn't mind some company while seeing the place a little.
Where's Darrien, by the way, in all this, GM?
Darrien is, while this was happening, Darrien has gathered a crowd around him.
Oh,
Like there's a
okay.
few people, there's like 3 or 4 people, and
course he
he's
has.
standing in front of this. He's standing in front of this fountain of the 2 half elves, And he's just going, he's standing there. Ah, yes. And one of the details many visitors miss is that the noses of both statues have been remodeled just 4 years ago. There was a mighty little incident there that the noses were hit by a ball of playing children, and both of them fell off, so they had to be remodeled. You can see there's a slight different kind of stone used for it, and an ever so slight little gap between parts of the noses. A fascinating detail, isn't it?
Sure. Is
Oh,
that all right,
but-
Dythun? I mentioned telepathically as I say sure out loud.
Alas, I am so sorry to leave you, but I do have business with my acquaintances here. And he leaves behind these people that he told all these facts about these statues, comes over there like, you are ready to continue and see you. And he looks at Haral. You met a new friend?
Yes, they'll be joining us, if that's all right.
Let us continue the tour we're on.
Yes, the tour. The tour around the palace.
Just
touring
that's all these
the
other people
palace.
are doing.
Tour the palace.
Normal
Yes,
people.
let us do that.
Yes.
And he turns towards Haral. Darrien, at your service. And your name is? Haral? Beautiful name. Come. Follow me and you will be safe. Everyone is safe around Darrien.
My acting like out loud laughs at that.
Yes.
And you're following a few other tourists that go off from the courtyard into one of the wings of this palatial place with a new friend in tow. Meanwhile, the camera moving from the courtyard over to one of the higher floors of the building, rubbing it in for the audience that distance-wise, space-wise, you're not that far away from the rest of your party. Delphine, you're in your room that you have been given. What would you have done in the meantime while you're being locked in this room? What is it that Delphine would have done so far?
So I talked about a lot of things of like, what can you do when you're stuck in a room and can't get out of there? Like, okay, the options are very limited. So, like, thinking about just throwing the window in and just because, just out of anger, you know, but not doing that. And like, yeah, okay, what would you normally do? You can't really do anything.
Would you like there's also a very large soft bed here that you can just lie on. There's books to read. You could make a rope ladder or something in the meantime.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. And probably at some point it's like, yeah, giving up taking a book and taking a bath. With the book, like, yeah, okay. I'm waiting.
So you let yourself in a nice hot bath, and I would say at this point you're just getting out of the bath. There's also bathrobes and everything that you need here. The bathroom is fully equipped. You have lotions and all the stuff you take to have a nice bubbly bath, and you get out there, dress yourself however you want after the bath, and as you get back out of the bathroom into the main room you have here, you hear there is a knock at the door. And you hear one of the guards say, "Miss Delphine, there's a visitor for you."
Who is it?
And there follows you hear a male voice that follows. "An old friend."
Wait, do I recognize this voice?
You absolutely do. You have... This person taught you a language.
No, 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 no. No.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much. Suddenly the fact of breaking out is much more nicely like, yeah. I mean, there will be a silence in the inside of like several minutes, like, okay, yeah. Until like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, there's like, okay, I can come in.
There was, in the meantime, there were like several knocks of like, Miss Delphine, and but eventually you say, come in. The door is unlocked, several locks opened, and once the door opens, you see there is a male tiefling steps in, purple-colored skin, dark purple hair of middle length, and these bright red eyes. The parts of the skin that you can see, many parts of them are also covered in tattoos, various beautiful, colorful tattoos. You do recognize him as Belden Zane, your old second mate, and maybe even at some points more than that. And he steps in and you see him. He is dressed in expensive clothing. He has this very long, expensive cloak on, which keeps the arms still exposed, so you can see most of his tattoos and everything. And along his horns that come out of his forehead, he has like as adornments like these gold and silver rings around parts of them. He comes in, he looks at the guards and says, I think you can trust me with her alone in here. Don't worry. I will not throw a Lyrandar out of the window. The door is closed behind you. And as he looks at you, you see his expression softens. And he's just standing there looking at you and says, How long has it been?
A long while.
I thought you would never return here.
Well, you see, I'm here. But maybe I should have re-thought about this.
If I had known where you exactly were, I might have made arrangements of sending warning to you. But since you left Stormhome, no one of us knew where you exactly went. There were rumors. There was this atrocious rumor that you're with some kind of adventuring guild? That you're working as a mercenary?
I mean, yes.
It's true then.
It's true.
Why does everyone not believe that I do this stuff?
He steps a bit closer. Because you're a fucking Lyrandar with a mark of storm.
Yeah, and guess what? I had no fucking money in my pocket since they stripped all of that from me.
You could have at least, before you just headed out of Stormhome, wherever you went, could have at least have known the crew where you were going? Could have told. No, I'm not going to say it. You were under no obligation to tell me where you went, but it would have been nice, And now I'm here, just preparing for a voyage, and just in time, I hear this ugly rumor that someone claimed the bounty, that you have been brought in. Tell me, who do I have to go and carve open as vengeance for turning in this bounty?
As much as I would like to. No, we're not doing this. No.
We're not doing what? And he steps a little bit closer.
Don't come closer. Stay there.
He stops. You're locked up in here, you know that, right?
Oh, obviously. Good that you remind me of it.
This bounty on you is absolute fucking bullshit. This is absolute nonsense. I don't know what got into this matriarch's head, but I'm telling you, if she wants my ships sailing under her flag, she needs to drop whatever she's doing here.
Well, great. Tell her that, not me.
I came here because I needed to see you for myself. You know, this could be the end of you.
Okay, I'm very much aware of that. But you can't just kill me.
No, I'll give you that. She hasn't done that yet, outright killing anyone of her own family.
Plus the fact that just to ban someone and basically going the long tour cutting out the dragon mark is banned. Since how long?
We're living in very, very, very strange times, Delphine. Who's going to check up on her if she decides to do that? You gonna call any of the other houses in to intervene? Whatever she might go and do with you, it's just isn't right. You've received your punishment, have you not? They threw you out. If more rumors are true, you're traveling with like this ragtag band of other mercenaries, and now she wants you here for whatever extra punishment? Look, all I want you to know, I was not given much time here to speak with you. I'm pulling quite some strings, but all I want you to know is I'm going to do my best to see and work with whatever influence I have to get that punishment a little bit softened up, or maybe talk some sense into some other people in this household. Not that any Lyrandar here makes a habit out of listening to other people. And at that last remark, he also looks at you and really emphasizes that last point.
You know, as much that I do, for giving someone a punishment, there must have something happened. And as far as I know, just being part of an adventurers guild and making money through just simple jobs, it's nothing that it's going to be punished.
Right. Something must have happened, right? And at that point, he walks by you towards the window, and he shuts the window, turns around. I have a thing for languages, right?
Yes.
I mean, and he switches over into Infernal to talk with you in Infernal. This is not the only other language I speak. And he continues in Infernal, knowing that you can understand it. He says, not too long ago, one of my ships was hired by House Lyrandar to retrieve an item. It was general delivery, picking something up. But I caught some wind that the assignment came from higher up. And I was curious what kind of artifact we were picking up. I thought it was something big, something like, some kind of eldritch machinery, an ancient magical technology or something. Turns out it was a fucking piece of rock. But there was carving on it. I mean, language I don't fully understand, but I know people. So before we handed it over, I got a rubbing of the carving, and I ran it past some people to get a translation. And he again looks around if there's no one else here. And then he reaches into his long coat and he pulls out this piece of paper, and you see these weird, almost like scratch-like markings on it. You have never seen this kind of language. And he looks at you and he says, I had to really, 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 really look for some people with really niche occult knowledge to get a close approximation of a possible translation on there. Turns out it's a fragment of something those eggheads call the Draconic prophecies. And this seems to be like one line from it. And this is what the Matriarch wanted me to deliver to her. And he hands you the paper, and you can't read what it says, but he tells you what it says, and he still speaks in Draconic. And he says, under a sky torn by vengeance, towers will tremble. And in a house of shadows, the marked herald is shunned. And he says, according to my sources, this is like a part of some kind of series of prophecies. And according to some other merchants I talked with, some contacts I have within the house, the Matriarch is collecting all this stuff, everything that's related to these kind of prophecies. And I don't know what you think, and before he continues, there's a knock on the door, and you hear one of the guards, Mr. Zane, your time with the prisoner is almost up. And he quickly switches over to comment, yes, no worries, almost done. And he then goes back into Infernal. People with the power of Esravash who get into these kind of weird hobbies, it's no good news. And I don't think it's coincidence that she's put that kind of money on your hat now.
I mean, I hear that she is into weird fortune-telling hobbies lately.
But what I understand, that's what these prophecies boil down to. It's basically fortune-telling. They have all these weird if-when things in them, strangely described, but the Matriarch seems to be obsessed with these. Another knock on the door. Tuk, tuk, tuk.
Folding that paper and giving it over to him. So, I mean, I'm on your side with this. That like having someone who is collecting this random shit and doing like something like putting a bounty on someone's head. But it still doesn't make sense that she went into such stuff.
It doesn't. And there's other people here in this household that agree with that. And I'm going to make sure that your situation here is going to help those people against Esravash out. I'm going to see if I can get you out of here. I mean, unless you find a way to get yourself out. Wouldn't be the first time you get yourself out of a very bad situation. Mr. Zane! And the door opens, and two of the guards step in. He gets up, he looks one last time at you, gets a bit away. It was nice catching up with you, Delphine. I hope you enjoy the hospitality of your family. And he just quickly slips the note back into his coat. Sirs, please, I'll follow you. Take good care of her. Must be quite exhausting standing in front of a door. He walks by, and as he gets out, he throws you one look over his shoulder, and then the door is closed again. You're once again alone in your room.
Okay.
The door is closed, you hear the locks going in again, and the footsteps of your former second mate, Belden Zane, who just shared with you this kind of information, walking away from your room. Outside,
The backstory.
there's clouds gathering out on the coast. You can see it from your window. They form rather fast. You've seen this before. As your father said, weather is no coincidence in Stormhome. There's a need for rain out there. The rain callers are taking care of it. The wind blows against the glass of the door. In the distance, you can hear a little bit of rain falling from the sky. Somewhere else in this complex, unbeknownst to you, Delphine, your companions, under the tour of and guidance of Darrien, are scouting out the premises, being joined by an orc known as Haral. But unbeknownst to all of you, to this entire party, deeper inside the Lyrandar stronghold, stands a person bowed over more text pieces in this weird claw-shaped characters. In a room that is illuminated just by a few Everlight lanterns casting long shadows. This figure, unclear to the camera, looks at the texts, looks at someone at the text that has read the same text hundreds, if not thousands of times, but still seeks for some kind of word hidden in between the lines. And as they focus on it, as they seem to finally grasp what kind of message is hidden in there, a door opens behind them. "My lady," a voice says. A sigh comes. "Apologies. But we have retrieved Miss Delphine." In the flickering light of the mage light of the Everlight lanterns, we see cast over a face, there's a smile. And we can see arching up from shortly over the lips, going over that side of the face, a colorful dragon mark that adorns the entire face. From this smiling mouth, words are spoken. In a voice that might have been at one point a gentle and warm voice, but now seems exhausted, cracks in it. Storm Dragon will spiral towards ascension. Unless the wayward gale will foil prophecy as they foil persecution. Doors closed again. The smile remains on the dragon-marked face. And we go to black as we end the session.
You mean go to second break, right? Go back and play for another 2 hours?
Exactly. Like we continue now, right? Like
all-nighter. We're oh. So
oh
just
my
to
god, all the
summarize,
exposition, all the backstory.
What I liked is that the party's plan, part of their plan is, let's take a guided tour to scope out the place. I just love the image that the characters are going around like, oh yes, we're totally tourists. Let's scope out the palace.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just, show us
Emergency exits.
Show us where the dungeon is. So show us the weak points of the just out of curiosity, like no secondary intentions there.
I also love the fact the party is probably thinking Delphine is like locked away in like a dungeon somewhere, and she's really just like up in the guest room.
No, I don't think Rain thinks that, because she mentioned it in an earlier session. Like she's one of them. They're gonna treat her nicely. She doesn't know she's in the princess suite, but nonetheless.
I saw in chat a mark of like that Delphine has a better room than Darrien has, so
Yes!
that was on point. But you people really give Darrien a hard time. You really like Darrien.
I gave him a very nice gift.
He makes it so easy.
You gave him this metallic fan.
Yeah, for Delphine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all of this kind of background information is made possible due to Caro giving me this extensive amount of people I can drop in here with. This is a great example of the kind of stuff you can do when you can work with a player of like looking into what you can put out of their background into a game session. And I'm very happy that Caro is also providing that information and has the trust in me as a GM that I use it in an entertaining way. And I hope that even though I might put your Caro, maybe I put your character into some awkward situation with him, I hope for you as a player this was still enjoyable. This was still fun.
Emotional damage.
This was very emotional. Especially like the last episode, like okay, no.
My character wants to meet that second mate.
Oh.
I think they'd have a lot in common. They'd be the best of friends.
Austin.
Until she tears him apart.
I just thought I'd point out I'm still hidden on this overlay.
You're still hidden on the. Oh my! I did still hide you there. Yeah, I switched.
No,
this
when you
back
switch
to...
back to this one.
Yeah. You are still. Everyone hears Austin like, there you are again. There you are. You have been revealed again.
Hello.
No, but this was a good start for this little intermission chapter. I'm really curious about next week how this is going to continue. And
oh no! And I can't be there next week. No.
Darrien, make it happen.
We're going to, of course, take good care of Rebus.
Yeah, hope Rebus takes good care of you guys.
I mean, So far, I mean, Rebus is still doing very fine at this point. There is no strange voices in Reba's head at this point.
No, neither in mine.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm
I
gonna
really
have
love
to
that Rebus is
watch
like,
it as
hey,
soon as I can.
I have the possessions of Delphine and I'm not touching them.
That's no
Yeah.
surprise to call to give it to Rebus.
Best choice to give them to Rebus. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
You know?
Rebus is basically rich
it
at
is
this
what it
point
is.
and doesn't know it.
Like even at if it was given to Dythun, Dythun would be like, "Oh, we need to pay for something here. Well, it's Dythun. It's Delphine's house, so here we go. He can pay."
You didn't start a tab in Delphine's name yet, so
True.
that's good.
You could always start one in Darrien, so I need to do it Delphine's.
Oh, Darrien still has one in
Poor
Charm
Darrien.
because of you people, so it's
Because of me.
yeah, because of Delphine, he still has one in Charm.
Ah.
Oh.
I'm
like-
going
I
to look
like-
forward to that clip so much.
I like the moment from when Rebus was backing up Darrien a bit, when Darrien was getting the entrance for you people, and Rebus was like, you know what? I'm gonna support this guy for a moment. I'm just gonna use my intimidating presence.
We make fun, like we can make fun of him, but I don't want other people making fun of him. Like I like seeing Rain making fun of him because Rain just gets so much delight out of it. But you know,
It's like, hey, we can mess with Darrien, you can't mess with Darrien. Not cool.
exactly. Like because he has enough with us, honestly, or he has enough with
Oh,
Rain.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I felt
Alrighty.
like it was a bit too mean. So
Well, I don't know where that came from as a player. I was like, oh, that came out. But then I was like, but there's legitimate interest in knowing like familial structure. Like,
right. I wish I had a spritzy bottle. Just-
But
well,
Rain
spritzing
loves
a Triton
water.
is probably has the opposite effect you intend.
Yeah. There needs to be like sand in there or something, like a sand sprayer.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, because honestly, a water sprayer would just be like a benefit.
Mhm.
Yes.
Ah.
All right. Well, this certainly was great fun again, and we're going to continue this next week. But for now, we are going to slowly wind down here. But I'm looking over to Ida. Do we have any announcements to share? What's going on?
We have one thing. Big thank you to everyone who showed up for Big thank you to everyone who showed up to Roll for Good last Saturday. We raised £1,122.33. 112233.
Oh.
All for trans rights vis-a-vis the charity Mermaids in the UK. That was great fun. VODs hopefully come out within a year, a month, a couple of weeks, a week. Let's keep it there. On Monday the 31st on Halloween, I will be playing with Dungeon, our good friend Dungeon. We're gonna be playing Monster of the Week at 6:30 CEST. It's going to be fully VTube animated puppets with face tracking and animated emotions. I'm going to be playing an expert character who has big poofy hair, and we're in a haunted house, so she knows like a lot of accoutrement. Like she always has like garlic and holy water, but it all comes out of her hair. She's got salt, she's got
That's
steaks,
cute.
and it's animated. It's so cute. So definitely
I can't wait to
look
watch
out
this.
for on Monday at 6:30 CEST, 5:30 BST. It'll be so much fun. And Anya and Kumi will be there as well. Friends of Horde of Tales.
Absolutely. Also,
Sounds
for
delightful.
Horde of Tales related things, it's going to be like just a few more weeks until Convergence Manifesto has its first anniversary. It's going to be about a year ago that we started this campaign. And I'm not want to give too much away, but you maybe want to, keep an eye on our socials and also make sure that you're here for our game on 8 November. Just, make sure you're here. It might be fun and special. So that's certainly coming up.
I mean, I'm
Almost-
just seeing in the chat like, yeah, party hats. It would be cool if our audience will wear party hats even though we don't see it. But I mean, the thought of it is already cool.
Or if
Oh.
you
We need
did,
that party
just,
hat
like,
emoji.
post
We need to
pictures of
give-
yourself in a party hat in the Discord. Just saying.
We
Yeah,
need
possible.
we need to edit the cat vantage emoji to have a party hat on.
I'll send you something.
All right. Now, but that's also coming up here. Is there anything else anyone else wants to share before we head into our luxurious prison cells and
well-
infiltrate?
Like right in the same week where we're doing like our 1 year anniversary, there's also like we're doing like for the second time our Shine a Light event actually on that Saturday the 12th, which is like our own charity project that we're doing with a lot of cool other streamers, and I have some insights on what they will present, and I'm not sharing this yet because it will be cool and you should be surprised. Hey, come on, where's the fun if you spoil everything?
Exactly, and also for that, keep an eye on our socials for more announcements on that. But already mark that calendar on 12 November for our special Shine a Light streams.
Yes.
So, I have just heard that we're not just heading out; we're actually going to raid someone, aren't we?
Yes,
We're
yes,
going to-
raid
we're-
Girls Run This World.
Exactly, and I think
Yes.
it's Philippa currently running Mouse Ritter there,
Yes.
adorable OSR tabletop RPG with tiny cute mouses doing tiny cute mouse adventures, and it's a very fun group. So how about we get people over for that raid? I think it's the raid. The raid is already
The
starting.
raid is
We have-
ready.
the raid is ready. Well, then I will shut up. I will thank everyone for joining here today. Take care, and we all see you next week. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Bye-bye.